10 o'clock, and it's time for the council to be in session. Mr. Alatorre is here. We have two members present. We need 8 more for a quorum. It is 20 minutes after 10, and we have Mr. Alatorre, Mr. Burnson, Mrs. Chick, Mr. Goldberg, Mr. Hernandez, Mrs. Sikowski. We have 7 members present. We need 3 more for a quorum. We do have some presentations, so we're going to start with the presentations. So let me point out that this is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 7th day of May, 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. So with that, we'll call on Mr. Burnson for a presentation. 2 presentations.
Marty, may I have your signature? This is on mass mailings from rules and elections. It was noted and filed.
Mr. President, members of the council, could I ask Gary Poe of Safe Moves to come to the podium, please? Is he here? Hi, Gary. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Members of the council, Los Angeles is home to a million bicyclists at least. In fact, 30% of all the bicyclists in California are in Los Angeles, even including our mayor. Bicycle safety is promoted annually in May throughout Los Angeles. In order to encourage the people of Los Angeles to observe bicycle safety, I ask by the adoption of the resolution which is before the council today, that we declare May 1999 as Bicycle Safety Month in the city of Los Angeles. And before we open the roll on this, Mr. President, I'm going to ask Gary Poe to make a very brief presentation, please. Would you, Gary?
Thank you, Council Member. Thank you, everybody, for letting us be here, and thanks for the proclamation. You know, with the support of the Los Angeles City Council and this Department of Transportation, we have been able to see approximately 2.5 million kids and bring the message of bicycle and traffic and pedestrian safety to them. The day before yesterday, we presented a Golden Helmet Award to a boy whose life was saved because he was wearing a bicycle helmet. And we do this because we know that they work, and without the council support and without the support of the Department of Transportation, we would be unable to do this. I, as an instructor, see approximately 5,000 students a month myself, and there are 4 or 5 instructors. We're very grateful for this. I must not apologize, but send best wishes from Pat Hines, who founded Safe Moves. She is unable to be here today because she's in the hospital, and if you know Pat, for her to be in the hospital and be in bed, not be able to move around, she called me after her operation at 6 o'clock in the morning, and she's just going to go crazy. She's going to be in the hospital, in bed for quite a while. So she expresses her thanks to the council and to DOT, and she wishes she could be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gary. I can tell you, for those of you that have never gone and visited one of the schools where Safe Moves has put on a safety program, you really ought to do it. It's something that promotes safety for kids and makes them aware of the things where people get serious injuries, head injuries and things of that nature, and also how to ride a bicycle safely in our city. So, Gary, I'd ask now if we could open the roll on this, Mr. President, and approve this.
Mr. Burnson, we don't have a quorum yet.
Well,
so.
we never let that stop us before, did we?
And yes, we have.
We will as soon as we do. Gary, thank you very much. Okay.
Appreciate it.
I have one more, Mr. President. Could I ask that Janice Van Steen please come to the podium?
What item are you talking about?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Fine.
Members of the council, Janice Van Steen has worked for over 27 years for the city of Los Angeles, starting in November 1971 as a telephone operator in Public Utilities and Transportation Department. Janice promoted to senior telephone operator in November 1975, responsible for administrative and technical directions of the Van Nuys office. Janice promoted to principal clerk in the city clerk's tax and permit division in October 1982, responsible for supervising the newly created excessive alarm unit. It was assigned in September 1985 the added responsibility to supervise the city clerk's utility exemption unit as well as the excessive alarm unit. In September 1989 was reassigned the responsibility to supervise solely the excessive alarm unit, and November of that year was assigned, 97 was assigned the responsibility to supervise the clerical staff for the city clerk's post-audit and refund processing units. Whereas Janice, in January 1979, successfully completed a one-year training program for radio and electronic communications craft, which led her passing the examination for a license as a Federal Communication Third-Class radio telephone operator. Also was commended in 1981 by Councilman Marvin Browdy for her staff's skillful handling of a multitude of calls regarding a lot cleaning notices sent out to owners of hillside properties. Sound familiar, members of the council?
Yeah.
In 1986, Julian Gottlieb, Chief Tax Auditor, for her excellent display, commended her for her excellent display and program information she presented at Older Americans Information Fair. Janice was commended in September 1989 by Terrence Manaccio. I think it's
Manuccio.
Manuccio, okay. That sounds Italian. Principal Tax Auditor for her excellent supervision and training skills in handling two dissimilar community-sensitive units, while at the same time reaching record production levels. She was nominated in November 1989 for Personnel Department Career Service Award due to her outstanding work, dedication, and contributions that she made to enhance the efficiency of the units that she supervised. She received in January 1990 the City Clerk's Career Service Award for Outstanding Service and Achievement. Janice was commended by Elias Martinez, our city clerk, in 1987-1988 for her low sick time usage, which means that she was dedicated and didn't just take the opportunity to take the time off. Janice served as a member and chairperson of the city's Affirmative Action Committee from 1985-1987, generously lent her time to serve the Girl Scouts of America and March of Dimes charities. She frequently served as an interview rater for both the cities of Los Angeles and Glendale, in addition to the LA Unified School Board. And Janice served on the department's mock oral team, assisting numerous co-workers in successfully passing their oral exams. Now, therefore, be resolved by the adoption of this resolution, the City Council hereby honors Janice M. Van Steen for her dedication to her family, her country, and to her city. And also, I might add, she's a resident of the 12th District.
Of course.
Of course.
26 years.
For 26 years. So Janice, it's my great pleasure. I've presented a few of these things through the 20 years that I've been here, and I've seen a few of the different honors, and but let me tell you, yours, I don't know when I've seen one that have been as many resolutions and honors as I see on this resolution here.
Thank you so much.
So congratulations to you, and
Thank you.
thank you very much for your dedication. Okay?
Thank you.
We're going to have you say a couple words in a second, too, okay?
But I'd like to get a picture of my husband and you and I.
Okay, we'll do that. You get on
Come
the
over
other
here,
side,
then.
okay? That's good. Want to slip side over just a little bit? A little more? Okay, we'll take one in the back after this. Okay? We'll take some pictures in the back after we do this. Janice, you want to say a word or two?
Yeah.
Read this.
I want to thank everybody that's here today, especially my family, to help me celebrate my very, very nice day today. At the New Otani this afternoon at 11:30, we'll have a luncheon, and I can say that I exceeded the seating capacity of the large ballroom, and I will be celebrating this retirement with my husband. We will be touring Europe, and we'll be grandma readers for the children. And I want to say I thank you very much for the time that I've spent with the city. It's been very, very good to me. very good to me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the years of service to the city of Los Angeles. All right, Mr. Hernandez for a presentation.
Yes, my sister and my son, right here, my son. Okay, thank you. Today is our time, today. Thank you so much.
Just don't move out of the district.
No, I won't. No, our home is paid for, so we're happy about that.
Mr. President, members of the council, it's my honor today to be celebrating with Goodwill Industries their 80th year of existence. And this is basically the week of May 3rd through May 9th is Goodwill Industries Weeks in the city of Los Angeles. With me to my left is Mr. Tracy Powers, who is the Vice President of Retail Operations. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Goodwill's been opening up many of their retail shops throughout the Los Angeles area. One of those shops was the first business reopened after the civil unrest in the Pico Union area of my district. But their main operation is also in my district off of Avenue 19. When we talk about Goodwill Industries in Southern California, it's the leading nonprofit provider for vocational services for people with special needs, and is one of the largest private sector employers of people with disabilities. Goodwill Industries in Southern California is celebrating its 80th year. The vocationally disadvantaged local residents have received vocational evaluation, vocational adjustments, job-seeking skills, and placement assistance or sheltered employment through Goodwill Industries in Southern California. The investment made by the community in Goodwill Industries has resulted in the agencies providing working solutions to many social problems facing our residents. Now, when I say these things, Mr. Bernson was talking earlier about safe moves and us having an opportunity to go to a school and see what they do. I really want to encourage each and every one of you to take the time to visit Goodwill Industries, especially this week, so that you could see the wonderful work and the miracles that happen there in all their departments in regards to the people who get training, the people who basically can deal with a lot of their needs there, but more important, become very productive members of our society because of the assistance they get from Goodwill Industries. So with that said, what I'd like to do is, by the adoption of this resolution, the Council of the City of Los Angeles hereby declare May 3rd through May 9th Goodwill Industries Week, and we urge all citizens to give support to Goodwill Industries in recognition of its ability to maximize an individual's contributions to self, family, and our communities. And this resolution is not only signed by myself, but also the Council President, John Ferraro, Councilmember Jackie Goldberg, and Mr. Mike Carey, our City Clerk.
Thank you very much. You know, for its 80 years of existence here in Los Angeles, Goodwill Industries has been primarily self-supporting through the great bulk of its revenue coming through its retail stores. When each of you assists the establishment of a Goodwill store or donation center in your community, you help Goodwill provide job training, work experience, and job placement services to some 2,000 local residents each year. It is on behalf of those people that I would like to thank all of you, all the City Council, for continuing to support Goodwill's mission of providing hope, jobs, and futures. Thank you very much.
Okay. I got one more to make. Yeah, we'll go. I'd like to ask if, and I know she's not aware of this, but if Councilmember Goldberg, if she might join me with this presentation. This was something her office had a lot to do at the beginning and continues to support. My office was involved and continues to support. But we're here honoring two individuals who are the founders of the community-based organization Sports League.
Oh, yes, all right.
And if I could call Danny Gaiter and Jimmy Valenzuela up. When we talk about the community-based organization Sports League, this was a concept that came about because of a vacation gap during the Christmas seasons. There was a realization by some of our community-based organizations that children were looking for things to do during vacation. And even though we had organized events during certain periods, Christmas's gap was one of those areas where we didn't. And so several times a year, the organizations basically decided to work on a softball league tournament. They also have outings for high risk and risk at youth through working through the various community-based organizations throughout the city. Some of the community-based organizations that participate in these leagues are the Central City Action Committee, El Centro del Pueblo, New Economic Women, Proyecto Pastoral, who is their umbrella agency, as well as SIPA. Last year, for example, on March the 7th, the organization held a two-day basketball tournament at the Alpine Recreation Center. There was a softball game that included elected officials as well as some sports celebrities. Yeah, we got whooped, but I got to play catcher. Yeah.
Next December? Oh, good.
And in January of 1998, for example, we took them up to a city park out in Angeles Crest to the mountains. And Councilmember Goldberg was there. I remember now Congressman Napolitano showed up, now Speaker Antonio Villaraigosa showed up to really pay some special attention and listen to the youth that these organizations work with. And we dealt a lot with their self-esteem. So the organizations who on an ongoing basis are working with youth have come up with a program where their youth can work with each other in some activities of competition, some activities of fun, but also some activities that help their self-worth. And so because of that, we wanted to recognize them in both these. Here you can give Danny his.
right.
Each one of these certificates basically says, in recognition of your service to the people of Los Angeles, your dedication of heart and hand to the needs and friends and neighbors and fellow members of our society. This certificate is a measure of your devotion of service to the people. And again, I'm presenting this one to Jimmy Valenzuela for being one of the founders of the community-based organization Sports League.
And I get Danny Gaither. I just want to add that, you know, there's a little bit of money involved to help pay for some of the expenses, but on the whole, people are just putting in their own time. And the results of this has been a tremendous friendly rivalry, as opposed to some of the kinds of rivalry we're used to with some of these young men and young women. And it's been just one of the most exciting things I've had an opportunity to be with. And it's been a pleasure working with various levels of elected officials all on the same thing. I think it's a good model for the kids to see that the adults can work together as well. So I just want to congratulate both of these gentlemen on their job really well done.
We'd like to thank the representatives for their support and continuous support. We'd like to invite any of the other areas that would like to be involved, contact them, and they'll switch it to us, and we'll deal with some of the agencies. Behind us, we have a lot of the agencies that are really involved in it, that are really the spirit. They come from San Gabriel Valley, San Fernando, Compton, Echo Park, Lincoln Heights, Boyle Heights. These are youth at risk between the age of 14 and 19. And without them, we wouldn't even have had this, this support that we've had and the success. Thank you.
And I would also like to add that thank you to all the city council, Mr. Richard Alatorre, that at the beginning when we were in El Monte, he would go out there and spend his time also to support us on his busy schedule during the Christmas event. But if it wasn't for the city council to support us, I don't know what we would do, because again, we're not funded by any sources. We try to fundraise on our own. At this point, I would like to bring in the youth. All the youth? Angel? Come on, you guys.
You can smile, it wouldn't kill you. You're going to be on television.
And Patty?
You can see this tonight. See
Well, I would like to give this to Mr. Hernandez. On behalf of the CBO Sports League, we are proud to present to you this award for your support and dedication to the youth of our community in the fight of stopping violence. Together, we can make a difference. Si se puede.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you. Again, Mr. President, thank you very much.
Mrs. Chick for a presentation.
Mr. President and colleagues, this is not a happy moment for me, nor for the city. Come on, right up here. We are saying goodbye to our city's veterinarian. We are losing her to the city of San Diego, and that's a very sad and unfortunate thing. I call her Dr. Dina because it's really Dr. Dina Mangiamelli. I had to break that down phonetically, as I'm sure lots of people do. But she really has been a true asset to the city of Los Angeles. She is a remarkable woman. During her 4 years here as chief veterinarian, she's done a variety of things to make the city safer, to make the lives of our pets better, and to improve the services of our Animal Services Department. For instance, she launched the mandatory early age spay and neuter policy at the time of adoption for all 6 of our animal shelters. She's implemented the mandatory intranasal vaccine for all impounded dogs to decrease the prevalence of kennel cough and thereby enhancing our adoption programs. She set in place implementation of the department's microchip program so lost pets can be easily identified. She's established and operated free vaccine clinics for the community, providing over 1,000 vaccinations in 3 hours. I really would have liked to have been there to see that. She has done so much for the city and for our animal population and for our people. She will be greatly missed. And as we work to address some of the long-term and very serious resource problems in this year's budget, colleagues, I'm going to ask for your attention to that when the budget comes to us. This no-nonsense voice will be greatly missed. Dr. Dina, I wish you well in your new endeavors. I hope you don't forget us. I hope you continue to share your talents and your good ideas with us. And as I say goodbye and congratulations on behalf of the City Council, I'd like to turn the microphone over to you to give you a few moments to share your wisdom and your experience with us. Congratulations. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to say something?
Yes. This is quite beautiful. Thank you very much. It's been a long, hard road, 4 years with the City of Los Angeles and the Department of Animal Services, now LA Animal Services. I'd like to say just a couple things. I hope that members of the City Council are very, very sensitive to the needs of this department. And please, when you think of the department and people call you and complain or have problems with the department, please think of all the success stories that we have. I could spend so much time telling you how hard the veterinary technicians work and the kennel staff and the improvements we have made. Absolutely insurmountable. Absolutely dynamic staff. You all should be very proud of our Animal Services Department. I'm very proud of everyone I have worked with. I thank you all for your support, and I hope you support us in the future. And I will miss this city very, very much, but will not forget this city. And I will be in San Diego County as the Director of San Diego Animal Control. And I really, really appreciate everything you all have done. But please, don't forget the hard workers in the field associated with animal care. We love animals in this city, and we will continue to work hard.
Before you leave, we would like to have the general manager, Dan Knapp, come and say a few words as well. And you can make your pitch good.
Thank you, Council Member. Over the years that I have been in this field, I've had opportunity to work with many good managers and leaders, and I found one thing to be very, very true, and that is a good manager leader gives credit to their team, and when there's problems, they take all the blame. One of the most remarkable instances of this I saw several years ago when the American Humane Association, their national conference, invited our own Dr. Dina to receive their first Veterinarian of the Year award. And she stood up on the platform and she said to this crowded room of people from all over the nation, she said, "I would like to invite my staff up on this platform to receive this award." Dina didn't receive it, her crew received it, and she went through each and every one and talked about their victories. She's the type of individual that takes the curtain on the stage, pulls it back so that you can see the troops, and she loses herself in the fold. We're going to miss Dina immensely, and with Councilmember Chick, I commend her for her service to the city and to the animals and to our wonderful employees.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Call the roll.
Alatorre, Burnson, Chick, Fuhrer, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley Thomas, Vornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 11 members present and a quorum.
Okay, the first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mr. Savornich moves, Mrs. Walters seconds. There's no objection, unanimous vote. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
If there's no objection, unanimous vote. Members of the council, let me first introduce some very important people who've come to the city. It's introduce a new major corporation to Los Angeles that is becoming part of the city's family. Adelphia Communications of Cotter Point, Sport, Pennsylvania, is in the process of purchasing Century Communications. Once this acquisition is complete, Adelphia Communications will be the nation's 5th largest cable television provider, serving more than 5 million customers. Adelphia currently business operations include cable entertainment, competitive local exchange and long-distance phone service, paging, security service, and high-speed internet access. Join us today as Adelphia Communications are Michael Regas, who is the Chief Operating Officer, Randy Fisher, the General Counsel. Also joining our longtime friend and from Century Communications, Bern Gallagher, Chief Operating Officer, Scott Snyder, Chief Financial Officer, and of course, Bill Rosenthal. As Century Communications Senior Vice President of Operations and host of the award-winning public affairs show, Weekend Review, a show that he very seldom ever invites me to, Bill has worked tirelessly to promote voter education and to advance cable technology for the greater Los Angeles area. Bill, the city is most grateful to the service that you and the Century has provided to our citizens. With Adelphia Communications and Century Communications joined forces, the city of Los Angeles will undoubtedly reap continued benefits of advancing technologies, high-quality service, and improved program. Bill, would you be kind enough to say a few words and to make the formal introductions of your new colleagues?
I'd be delighted, Mr. President, and thank you for the warm introduction. Today, May 7th, 1999, is a milestone day in the city of Los Angeles. We at Century Communications are very proud and extremely excited about the purchase of our company by Adelphia Communications out of Cloudersport, Pennsylvania. Their culture of taking care of their employees on health and medical benefits and pay scale is outstanding. one of the best companies in the nation in terms of its employees. When it comes to the cable customer, the customer comes first. In fact, their aggressive strategy on how they work with their customers will be explained by the leadership here. You will be very pleased to hear their commitment to the customer. Their commitment to the new technologies and the strategies that we all see unfolding in the newspapers every day, they're on the crest of the wave. I'm talking about the telephony, the cable modem, the digital box, the two-way interactivity. They're moving aggressively in that area, and indeed they intend to be more aggressive than what Century has been in the most recent past. It is a great honor for me to be here and be with the Adelphia people. But first, I do want to acknowledge both Bern Gallagher and Scott Snyder, our senior officers from the corporate office, our president and our chief financial officer, that I've had the pleasure of working with over the last 12 years, and it's been great. They have been the ones, as you all know, over the years that have supported our public affairs programming, which I might say is outstanding and has been a model for the rest of the nation. And their support of that has made a big difference to me personally, and I know to all of you here in the community. At this point, I'd like to introduce and have them come forward and show themselves to you, the Chief Operating Officer, Michael, and his brother, the Chief Financial Officer, Tim, the Regas brothers. And I want you to know that the word Adelphia, which you will now know forever, Adelphia means brother, brothering, being together, being partners. So we have two brothers, literally two brothers, the sons of the founder, who will now speak before you. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Mike Regas. I'm the Chief Operating Officer, and we're very happy to be here today and are looking forward to partnering with you in our cable television service to your city. Adelphia roots go way back. We've been in the business since 1952 in Pennsylvania. We currently operate service about 2.5 million customers in 13 different states. With this acquisition in this city, we will have about 5 million customers. This is coupled with a couple of our other acquisitions, which will make us about fifth in the country in terms of size. This complex will represent about 850,000 customers. It will be one of our largest clusters in the country and will be very important to us. We intend to have a long-term commitment here. Just a couple of points about our operating philosophy. Adelphia is strongly committed to its customer care program. We have 24-hour service, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We have stringent customer care guidelines which exceed what exists throughout the industry. As an example, we have 2-hour windows for service and installation. We also answer service calls if the customer desires on a 24-hour basis. The second point, we are very aggressive in our capital expenditure program. We know how important it is to upgrade our plant with fiber optics. This not only makes our plant more reliable, but allows us, gives us the platform to deliver the enhanced services which are so important to our customer base, including high-speed modems, digital converters, and down the road, residential telephone service. Century has an active plan to upgrade the system. We will be continuing that, and if at all possible, accelerating the pace of construction. We are also committed to community affairs. I know you do a lot here with the community affairs programming, which I've heard nothing but good things about since I've been here, and we definitely intend to continue that. Throughout the country, we have an active public affairs department which works with the communities and groups in the communities to encourage volunteering among our own employees and to help out with worthwhile causes. And we'll definitely continue and, if possible, step that up here as well. But as a final note, I just wanted to say we are hands-on operators, and if you ever, we pride ourselves on being accessible to franchise communities, and if you have issues that can't be resolved locally, we would certainly welcome the opportunity to sit down with you or discuss them by telephone. And with that, I'll turn the microphone over to Tim.
Thank you. Just a few words. First, we are extremely excited. This is a wonderful opportunity for our company here in the Los Angeles area. Our commitment to service, as Mike has spoken about, I'm sure you'll check out, but that is extremely important to us that we deliver that same type of service here. The company itself is going to spend over $1 billion the next 3 years on capital expenditures throughout our company. Well over $100 to $150 million generally in this area to build a platform which is 750 megahertz with fiber optics going deep into the plant, which will allow us almost unlimited channel capacity. This will allow us the most advanced high-speed cable modems, internet service providing, residential telephony, and unlimited entertainment, and also home security type ventures. So with that, it's a format that we are well prepared for technically. We have a CLEC company, which is Competitive Local Exchange, which offers service to a third of the United States, but will soon have a national footprint. And we service over 200,000 business telephone subscribers currently. So these are the thoughts and promises, and it's more of a merger with the Century Group. Ours is to provide the capital, some negotiation power, but to allow Bill and the local people continue a good job with a green light to complete the rebuilds and perform the number one service this community deserves. Thank you.
Mr. Alatorre, then Mrs.
Mr. President, all I wanted to comment is I just hope that you totally analyze the tremendous contribution, at least in the arena of public service and just information to the general public about the political process that Mr. Rosenthal has contributed for so many years. I think when you look at the offering that is provided by Century as it relates to whether it be election information, whether it be a debate on timely issues nationally as well as locally, you're not going to find a better resource than what is being provided by Mr. Rosenthal and the people that work as part of his crew. Obviously, I think that everybody is always concerned about the rates that they pay for the cable subscription. As a subscriber of Century Cable and as a person that is not going to be retiring in July, I'm going to look forward even more to less money for my cable subscription. But if it isn't going to be that, then as long as you keep the fine programming that you do have, certainly I'm very happy, and you couldn't find a better group of people that work on not only Mr. Rosenthal's program, but just generally the type of quality service that is provided by people that work out of Eagle and people that work out of West Los Angeles. Congratulations.
Yeah, excuse me. I'm sorry. We have recognized that and building up a rapport with Bill and his group. And one of the advantages of Adelphia is the merging of the two companies without a total disruption and total consolidation that some other companies would have brought with the situation. So with those comments, I think we're well prepared to follow through on that.
And just to echo my colleagues' comments, I think that we want to welcome Adelphi, and I think you both noticed the reaction when you commented on your public affairs and community aspects, that we were all nodding and smiling because it's something that Century has been very well known for. Mr. Rosendahl just recently moderated Tarzana Property Owners' annual town hall, and anyone who can handle Councilmember Misikowski, myself, City Attorney Jim Hahn, Supervisor Yaroslavsky, and our West Valley Police Captain the way he did, as well as all of the community questions. He's a phenomenal asset to our whole community, and you don't serve my area, but whenever I'm over at someone else's house and can get a chance to watch, I do that with pleasure. So welcome, and thank you for your comments, and we look forward to your maintaining the wonderful service that we've had already.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank you and welcome to Los Angeles, and hope everything goes well with you.
Mr. President?
Glad to be here.
Mr. Holden?
Am I on the board up there?
Huh?
Yeah, I just want to join with my colleagues in welcoming this new outfit to the Los Angeles area. But as I do that, I certainly would like to have you know what we know about your company and the operations of it here in Los Angeles area, and the benefits that it has provided for each and every one of us from the standpoint of an educational program. They've been responsible and willing to receive and request that local elected officials and other active people within our community come and join on your program and provide a educational service. The leader in that process has been, as you already know and heard over and over again, is the one and only Bill Rosendahl. He has been the savior, if you will, for Century Cable in that part of time. I must tell you that. And without Bill there, I don't think it would be the same outfit. Maybe you would not have even shown the interest in it that you are now showing for the point of acquiring it. But we welcome you with open arms. We know that you are helping to grow even more than what it is today, and you have a real backbone there. And my friend and yours and friend of all of us, that guy right over there, Bill Rosenthal. Thank you very much for coming to join us.
No, I think
Thank you for those comments. In fact, what we've actually learned coming out here and talking with Bill and the people from Century is something that I think that has been a promise of the cable industry for years. It is one of the unique places where Century and Bill has been able to follow through and get that type of enthusiasm. So with that, we are hopeful that we can kind of export that knowledge to some of our other systems. So we very much appreciate your comments, and thank you very much.
Hang on to him. Don't let him get away even if he wants to.
Mr. President, I'm Bern Gallagher. Thank you for the kind words, Mr. President, and members of council. We appreciate your relationship with our company for many years. I know that the Regas family and the Adelphi people are looking forward to their relationship. We can assure you that we have knowledge of that Bill Rosendahl is one of our great assets and treasurers, and Mike and Tim also have great knowledge. And to answer a question, Councilman Ferraro, that you had a problem with earlier, we'll make sure, I'll talk to the Regas brothers and make sure that Bill has you on that show more often. Thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you very much, and again, welcome to Los Angeles. We look forward to working with you. Mrs. Chick, do you have a presentation?
No, I did it.
Oh, you did. All right, Mr. Silvernich. Oh, Ruth is.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the council, if I could ask Bill Speedy to please join me here at the podium. Mr. President, members, this is indeed a bittersweet day among the city family as we honor one of our own in regards to his retirement for from city service after 33 years of service to the people of the city of Los Angeles. Bill Speedy has served as a legislative assistant in the city clerk's office for many, many years. Most recently completing his tenure with the committee which I have the privilege to chair, the Housing and Community Redevelopment Committee. Bill graduated from Occidental College in December 1963 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science, and thereafter served his country as an Air Police Desk Sergeant in the United States Air Force from 1964 to 1965. He began his career with the City of Los Angeles as a junior administrative assistant on May 11th, 1966 in the main office of the city clerk at $591 a month. Bill promoted to administrative assistant in the election division on October 21st, 1968, and promoted to legislative assistant on January 27th, 1969 in the main office of the city clerk, and managed State, County, and Federal Affairs Committee of the Council. He then served as Chief Legislative Analyst from 1973 to June 1987, and when Bill returned to the City Clerk's office in 1987, he promoted to Legislative Assistant 2 in 1990. He developed and implemented innovative changes in processing files and streamlined obsolete procedures, assisted in training new employees, and was assigned the more difficult and complex tasks relative to council committees, such as Plum and HCR. Mr. President, members of the council, Bill was also honored for his great work, praised by council members, department officials, and private citizens when he received the Outstanding Service Award from the city clerk in 1996. Mr. President, members of the council, would you please join me in honoring one of the truly great members of our city family as we wish him well in regards to his retirement and wish him many, many more years of health and happiness. Bill, on behalf of a grateful city, thank you for your years of hard work. We appreciate it very, very much. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Sporenich. Mr. President, members, 33 years seems like quite a while when I look back on it. It hasn't all been fun, but it always has been interesting. When I first started here, Chuck Port, who performed as the council's minute clerk with such style and grace for a number of years, told me that after working for the council for a few years, I'd never want to go anywhere else. And that's really been the case. I'm afraid that I operate on a bit of a busman's holiday basis when I go home sometimes. I watch the news report with Jim Lehrer in the evenings, and often watch Life and Times on KCET. On Friday nights, I watch Washington Week in Review. I realized that I was really in trouble when I thought came to me that my favorite television couple are Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts, who I watch on the weekends. I want to thank you all for giving me a ringside seat for the best show in town. It really has been an interesting and educational procedure the whole time. Thank you all very much, and the best of luck to you all.
Bill, I know you served as my clerk on the committee in the past, and as we talked earlier, we both came in city government in May of 1966.
Yes.
So we want to wish you the best, and you've done a good service to the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you.
Mr. Burnson?
Yes, Bill also served on the, to the planning committee, as the secretary of the planning committee for a number of years. And I can tell you that it was a pleasure working with him. He was always very accurate, he was always very punctual, and he did a great job for us. And I'm just sorry to see you leaving the city, but I know that after all those years, you're entitled to a little recreation, not have to put up with us, Bill. But I just want to tell you what a pleasure it was working with you, and you were really, truly a credit to the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you.
Best wishes for the future.
Ms. Galanter, do you have a, Ruth, do you have a presentation? she's coming like she is.
This is crazy, but nobody wants to donate.
What is it?
It's about school safety. And he wants the city, police department, fire department, city attorney and everything to form 27 public school safety task forces and have children and families be the lead agency.
Okay. The next item? Yeah.
Item number 2 on the regular agenda, request to continue till May 21st.
Item number 2, continue until May 21st. Is there any objections to that? Seeing none, that will be the order.
Item number 3, request to continue till May 26th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item 42, a request to continue till May 11th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 4 on the regular agenda is reappointment of Randall E. Lee to Board of Industrial Authority for a new term ending June 30th, 2001.
Can we have some quiet in the council chamber, please? Randall Lee, would you come forward, please? This is a reappointment to the Board of Industrial Development Authority. Is there any? Come to the center table.
But you appointed him, the mayor did.
Is there any discussion on this reappointment? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
We'll send that forthwith. Randall, thank you very much for
Thank you very
serving the
much.
city, and I was glad I was able to reappoint you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item.
Next item is number 22, which extend the interim appointment of Sharon H. Morris as Executive Director, Department of Disability.
Sharon. Where's Sharon? As if we don't know her. How many interim appointments have you had, Sharon? Yeah. She's.
Could I just make an announcement,
she's
Mr.
the
President?
Interim General Manager Emeritus. Sharon,
Mr.
take a seat there so we don't look at you like we don't know you.
Mr. President, could I just make a quick announcement?
Yeah.
Mr. President, the Ad hoc Committee on the Budget will be meeting at 1 p.m. this afternoon to continue deliberations on the
I thought we were
budget.
going to meet immediately after the council.
Well, there's a problem. We're still working on some memos and the like, so I think 1 o'clock is more realistic.
Ms.
Thank you.
Goldberg?
Yes, the only question I have has nothing to do with you, but has to do with how long, where they are in the process of selecting the final person, and why is it going to take an additional 180 days to get it done?
Can you answer that?
No, I can't answer that.
Sharon is just available for interim appointments
Well,
in
no,
any department.
as I said, this has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the process rather than the individual, believe me. And I know you believe that.
Maybe.
But the problem
Ann,
I'm
do we have any
having
idea?
is that, okay, we
Well,
have an
maybe
answer.
maybe Bill can answer.
Go ahead.
Bill Fujioka, Personnel Department. We're in the process of putting the exam materials together, the recruitment materials together. We're working with the commission. We're working with other stakeholders to solicit their input on how we should structure the desirable qualifications, and then I also ask for their input and assistance in conducting this executive search.
And you
It
think
has
it's
been
going to
started.
take 6 months?
No, it won't take 6 months.
How long do you think it will take?
We'll have it done within 90 days.
Okay. I'd like to amend this to say an interim position for 90 days. If we get to 75 days and it's not done, we'll come back. But it just seems to me that these should not be dragged out, because the process was never intended to put people in for that long. And I'm sure there's another department that's going to need your help. No, but I just think that we should try and get these things done in a timely fashion. So
Yes.
I'm going to move to amend it to 90 days and ask for report back in 75 days through the Personnel Committee, so that if this needed to be extended again, we'll be happy to do it.
All right, is there any objections to Mr. Holden?
Mr. President, the intent is that we have a general manager acting otherwise in the position. And I think that to give someone a hot foot may not be required at this time. I think if you just say, give it a year, if you appoint the person within 2 weeks or a month or whatever, fine. At least they know the legislative body's intent. I think that if you say they should come back in 90 days and give you a status report of where they are in this regard, fine. But I don't think the acting general, they may want to leave the acting general manager in place until they have a new mayor. Who knows? That just, you know what I mean? I don't know what their hidden agenda is.
No, there's no hidden agenda. They can't do that. We're talking about charter issues here. We're not talking about charter issues. The mayor could tomorrow say that this individual should be permanent, and I would vote for it. That's not the issue.
I so move.
We're talking about a charter issue.
I so move.
And that's a public commitment I just made. So it's not. This is not about the individual. This is about a process that's in the charter.
Let's put this to rest. And Mrs. Goldberg's amended this to 90 days instead of 180 days.
And what will happen in the 90 days, Mr. President?
Well, we're going to report and see how close we are to appointing a new.
Aye, sir.
Okay. All right. Prepare the roll on that amended motion. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That's approved. I want to ask Sharon, how many interim appointments have you had to different departments?
Only 2 departments.
It seems like a dozen.
It does. So far.
And she's done a great job in each of them. This is not about the quality of the performance at all.
Thank you.
Okay,
No, it's
thank
not.
you very much. All right, the next item.
Item number 1 on the regular agenda is item notice for public hearing.
Or is there anybody in the audience wants to be heard on item number 1? We have no cards. This will be continued until May 28th. If there's no objections, that will be the order on item number 1. Next item.
Items number 5 through 14 are items for which public hearings have been held. There has been a request that item number 5 be called special by Councilmember Hernandez. Item number 8, I believe there is public comment requested. Item number 9 and 11 are amending motions. And item 14 has been called special by Councilmember Chick.
Amending motions on which ones? 9 and 11. Okay. Members of the council, we have 5 been called special by Mr. Hernandez and 14 by Mrs. Chick. And we have had public hearings on these already, but we do have people who want to be heard on 8 and 14. So we'll call those special. And we have amendments on 9 and 11. Any other specials by council members? Okay, the amendments, is there any, who made those amendments? 9 on 9?
Ms. Goldberg.
Ms. Goldberg?
On number 9, the amendment is to change, to delete recommendations 8 and 9. It's not really to delete them, it's to combine them. And it involves the working group, and it simply says, instruct the CLA to convene a working group consisting of, but not limited to, CDD, Personnel Department, CAO, Local 347, AFSCME, and other city departments, so that the program can be expanded and focus on the expansion of the vocational worker program within city departments. This is simply, I think, a better reflection of what happened at the meeting. The report didn't quite write it up, I think, appropriately, and we're just making an amendment for clarity. There's no substantive change. There is a substantive change in 11A, but it also reflects the meeting, which is to delete the current recommendations 1 and 2 and include the following recommendations, and this is what came out of the committee report. Out of the committee hearing, to authorize the CDD to use staffing firms as a method to obtain permanent employment for welfare to work participants, only staffing firms that provide skill-based job training and guarantee a permanent single full-time placement job that pays at least a living wage will be eligible for welfare to work funds. The reason we did that is because we received a lot of testimony that the typical temporary employment doesn't lead to permanent employment, and so we wanted to make that change. Secondly, was to authorize CDD in collaboration with Metropolitan Alliance, the National Employment Law Project, to develop an RFP based on the criteria listed in recommendation number 1 to select staffing for, subject to the approval of the Private Industry Council and the city attorney, and report back to the chair, which is Mr. Hernandez, of the Community and Economic Development Committee for review prior to release of the RFP. That doesn't have to come back to committee. We're not going to hold it up. And finally, to instruct CDD to provide as much assistance as possible in order to identify support services such as childcare and low-cost transportation that match participants' job placement. These were all issues that came out of the committee, but which somehow didn't get reflected in the report. So these are amendments to the reports.
We have those amendments on 9 and 11. Is there any objections to those? Mr. Hernandez?
Mr. President, I agree with all the amendments, and they were part of the report, should have been part of the report, but I did want to make one correction. I thought it was going to be the chair of the Personnel Committee when we had that discussion at CED.
It's okay with me, but we'll leave it in your hands, and we'll work it out.
Okay. All right, we have, now we have 6, 7, 9 as amended, 10, 11 as amended, 12, and 13 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
On the regular agenda, items number 15 through 39 are items for which public hearing has not been held, with the exception of 22, which has already been acted on. 34 and 35 have been called special.
34.
Chip, and 35 by Mr. Hernandez.
Okay. Anybody want to be heard on any of the items except for we have cards on 40. We'll call that 40 special. Anybody want to be heard on any of the other items? Seeing none, the public hearing's closed. Any other specials by council members? 15 through 39, with the exception of 22, 34, 35, and 40. Well, 40, no, 40 is not involved. Prepare the roll on those items, except the ones I pointed out. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Items number 40 and 41 on the continuation agenda. Item number 40 called special by Councilmember Chick and Burnson.
Okay. Okay, we have 41 before us. Any discussion on 41? Anybody? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
Mr.
Well,
President?
I'm sorry.
On
Ms. Goldberg?
41, we need to amend 41. I apologize for not having it in writing. But we need to set up payroll deduction enabling
Oh, yeah.
all city employees
Yeah, that's,
to contribute to the Los Angeles Fire Department Historical Society. They aren't actually contributing to the museum. The museum is a project of the Historical Society, so you have to contribute to that. And secondly, to ask for the opportunity to set up a payroll deduction program separate from this, enabling all city personnel to contribute to the Stentorian project. And I don't
Ms.
know. what-
Goldberg,
yeah.
can we get that in writing?
I'll
Because
write it
we all
down.
agree to that, and that's why we...
I'll write it down.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry, I just...
Okay, then, so we'll call that one special too. Okay, the next item would be number 5.
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay. Mr. Hernandez, you call 5 special?
Mr. President, members of the council, I think this is an excellent program, and so my intentions of calling it special were not to vote no, but rather to support it. But I'd like staff to be able to explain to everybody a little bit more about the details, the dollar figures of the loans that are going to be available to consumers for purposes of energy efficiency, and how do we make sure our constituents have access to that information and basically go through the process of trying to apply for the fund that is going to be made available.
Yes, sir. The bulk of the funds here are going to be available for city-owned buildings, the renovation of City Hall and a whole host of city buildings that where the electric bill of the city can be reduced. And I might just say that I don't think any private power company that was in the business would be coming to this city council with a revolving loan program to help you reduce your bill. So we're responding to the president's comment yesterday that we should be nice to our parents. And we think this program will help in the renovation of City Hall. And I did, yes, sir, I do. But there's 15 million of the 40 million that's reserved for ordinary consumers. We think primarily for lower income people that don't have the money to purchase air conditioning. And the air conditioning companies, the contractors, will be advertising this loan program. You can bet your bottom dollar on that if it's approved by this council today. But we will have bill stuffers that will go in and will inform all of our customers through an item in the bill. And we will, in our Green Power program, when people sign up for Green Power, we will tell them about this loan program. Those three ways will reach the people.
And so, and I guess one of my questions is, again, accessibility, and the intention here is to use green power. The intention here is to reduce people's energy consumption.
Yes.
And to basically allow for people who might not be able to afford to access a fund that will allow them to do those changes. Is there any contemplation of an analysis of people? For example, you might have customers who have problems paying their bills. Well, that then could be referred to the loan fund.
This is the best answer to somebody with a problem paying their bill or with a high bill, is to tell them about this program face to face. So we will be doing that, and this gives us a new arm for customer service in the very real sense.
Okay. And I would also ask, again, so that I might be able to better serve my constituents to the best of our abilities, if we could have a full briefing on this issue at my office. I want to be able to support this 100%. I think it's an excellent program. I think it's exciting. It makes the department more competitive. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of how it works.
Yes, sir. You vote for it, and we'll be there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be voting for it, and I expect you to be there. Thank you.
We have item 5, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. We'll send that forthwith. Thank you, David. Cindy, next item.
Item number 8.
We do have a couple cards on 8. We did have a public hearing already, but Teresa Sanchez, we're just going to allow a short time, so don't plan on a long speech. Here, would you sit here?
Good morning, council members. I'm Teresa Sanchez from Local 347. I just wanted to take a moment to thank the council, especially Ms. Goldberg and the members of the Personnel Committee, and Mr. Hernandez and the members of the Community Economic Development Committee for working so hard in supporting us, the Metropolitan Alliance, Local 347, other labor organizations, to work with the Community Development Department to put together the city's Welfare to Work implementation program. I just wanted to remind council members that, in case you don't know, you probably already do, the City of Los Angeles is really the leader in the nation in terms of using Welfare to Work as an opportunity to create permanent living wage quality jobs for people on public assistance. And our public sector job creation program is an essential part of that. Another essential part of that, of course, is the oversight component that's going to make sure that the program continues to be comprehensive and effective, and we will continue to report back to you on a regular basis on the progress of that. The vocational worker program is an innovation of Local 347 and the City of Los Angeles, and that's going to be the model for Welfare to Work in the public sector. And again, I want to thank you for your support.
Good morning. My name is Vivian Chang. I'm speaking before you today on behalf of the community perspective of the Metropolitan Alliance. And I also want to begin by thanking the council, and particularly Councilmember Jackie Goldberg, for introducing and passing the amendments earlier on items 9 and 11. We do feel strongly that the Welfare to Work program is very much a model in terms of being proactive to create living wage jobs for people on assistance. And the vocational training program is one very concrete program that's getting up and off the ground, and we're very excited about it. Second, we believe that the Welfare to Work program is also a model with respect to process. The positive collaboration that has been built through developing this plan with between the city, between community and labor is really unprecedented, and the oversight committee is really just a concrete extension of that and gives recipients of public assistance and community-based organizations the opportunity to really directly participate in the implementation of this plan. And so we urge you to vote in support of it. In conclusion, I would like to introduce a member of Agenda's organizing committee. It's a committee made up of people on assistance. Agenda is a community-based organization in South LA. Jennifer Rhodes.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Rhodes. I'm a mother of 3. I've been on public assistance for 7 years and completed a training program at the apprenticeship preparation program, Maxine Waters. There are hundreds and thousands of people who are just like me who want to find work and get off of assistance. Today I want to talk about 2 things. That's the Oversight Committee and the Vocational Training Program. The Oversight will give me an opportunity to participate in decisions that affect me. The Vocational Training Program, it is good. It gives us livable wage jobs, and it creates jobs and on-the-job training, and training that leads to a job at the end of it. If I had a training program like this, I would be employed and offer assistance. I want to thank Jackie Goldberg for working with us and listening to our needs. I hope you pass the Oversight Committee and the Vocational Training Program today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. That closes the public hearing. The matter is now before us. The committee report. Mr. Clerk, open the roll. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
That matter is passed. Next matter, Mr. Clerk.
Next on the agenda, Madam, is item number 14 and 40, a request to consider together by Mr. Bernstein and Ms. Chick.
Okay, we also have cards on this. Ms. Chick, do you want a presentation of the staff first?
Yes, I would like to have the fire department staff come forward. In addition, we have had several public hearings in Public Safety Committee. I'm not sure that a public hearing is necessary on this.
Could we have the fire department staff come forward, please?
What would be helpful, I think, in staff presentation is to bring us right up to date with what is before us and what changes have been made and how the department has sought to address the problems that have arisen on this program.
Deputy Fire Chief Jimmy Hill. We have been working with the chair of the Public Safety Committee to resolve some issues around the brush clearance fee of $13. The fire department has been careful in its analysis and has factored in the costs of all of the parcels that would be affected by this fee, and we have prepared a new letter that will go out to the homeowners explaining in depth the fee and the purpose of the brush clearance program. We have met with some of the homeowners that were present at the meetings to resolve issues and as well address their concerns regarding the current brush clearance program. So we're prepared today to go forward and hope the council will support the fee of $13 and reinstate it.
Okay. But before I make my comments, Chief Hill, if you would also talk about, I think, take us backwards now in terms of why do we have the program, and why the buffer zones? In other words, from the public safety standpoint, why are we doing this? There's been a lot of discussion about the fee and why we are initiating the fee, and if you could address some of those more controversial points, I think that would be very helpful.
Here in the city of Los Angeles, we have past history of devastating brush fires. Going back to some of the Bel Air fire in 1961, the Chatsworth fire in 1971, all the way up until some of the more recent fires in Baldwin Hills in the 80s, where we lost homes and valuable property due to overgrown brush and hazardous vegetation. This required the fire department to go back and look at the Mountain Fire District and set up some type of provisions, which included the brush clearance issues to protect the homeowners and remove this vegetation from the property. As a result of some of these fires extending into other areas, and traditionally here in Los Angeles, we are affected by the topography, wind patterns, the terrain, which affects and put at risk other homes, we prepared and we drew out on the map a buffer zone which will allow those areas that are exposed from the potential of brush fires and create a margin of safety for those homes as well. In those areas each year, we put additional resources on high hazard days when the temperatures rise, and we know that there's a strong potential for brush fires to break out, and these are the added costs of this program that we have put together. This enables a margin of safety for the community and those surrounding homes in those areas that appear to be flat, but yet they are still at risk of fires that would extend due to flying brams that would go downwind, igniting roofs and other structures.
Okay, thank you, Chief Hill, and I noticed Chief Bamatre has joined us, so colleagues, if there are other questions that you have, they'll be here to answer them. I'm not going to go over the unfortunate history of the mistakes that have been made in how we have handled this fee and this program. But I believe very strongly, colleagues, that what is before us is the right thing to do. The right thing to do in terms of the dollar amount of the fee. We've spent a lot of time with the CAO staff, our city attorney, going over the math, going over the legality issues. This is not a tax. It is very clearly a fee for a specific service that is offered to specific geographic areas that are in greater danger of brush fire than any other areas in the city. You've just heard Chief Hill explain the philosophy and the very real dangers that are addressed in having created the buffer zone. In addition, and something that cannot be underscored enough, and my colleague, Councilmember Fuhr, is going to make another recommendation of change to the letter, we are very much offering an alternative to all impacted properties so that they don't have to pay the fee. There is a fairly simple process that property owners can use to self-inspect, send in pictures showing that they have complied, and thereby avoiding the $13 fee, but still maintaining their property up to safety standards for themselves and for their neighbors. As this issue has come forward, I have to say that I have heard from a great many property owners around the city, not just in the West San Fernando Valley, who are saying that they are not only willing to either self-inspect or pay the fee, but they want our fire department to be out there making sure that all their neighbors comply, because they are very careful about their property and understand that if someone up the street, around the corner behind them, don't clear their brush, that they are in dire danger, whether they have cleared or not. So I am strongly recommending and asking for your approval of the public safety report. Our fire department, in really the first full implementation this year, is going to be carefully looking at each property, and if there are some that have been included that clearly don't need to be included, in the next year they will be deleted. And finally, We have made some changes in how the department will be dealing with condominium owners and condominium associations. I believe Councilmember Miskowski will have some questions that can be addressed on that. And I will look forward to ending the conversation and our discussion with some closing remarks. Thank you.
Mr. Burnson?
Yes, I don't think anybody has any argument with the need for fire safety, particularly a district such as mine, which probably has one of the greatest risks in the city. My problem is with the method of dealing with this. My problem is with a not clearly defined or recently defined boundaries. My problem is with proceeding to charge everybody in the current boundaries with a fee while we are making a determination whether they belong in it or not. And my problem also is determining the legality, because we've already been threatened with a lawsuit. As you know, we can't charge a tax because that needs a 2/3 vote or an assessment. We cannot we cannot charge a fee unless we have a nexus that we can establish in court is equivalent to what we're doing for that particular fee. And that means that if we're going to charge every single lot within these areas, it means, are we actually physically going to inspect every single lot? I don't think that's capable, number one, practical, or responsible, because we can't do it and we don't need to do it. There's no reason that people that live on Devonshire or a block or two away in Granada Hills should have to be inspected. Vacant properties are something else, or people that live in areas where they are adjacent to hillside areas or canyons where fires are possible and there is open land that needs to be cleared. The property owners should be responsible for that. In many cases, it's not the person that lives in a home, it's a person that owns a piece of vacant property. In some cases, it's the city or the county. In some cases, it may be one of our agencies, such as Department of Water and Power. And yet, we're putting all these people in that same category. I just think that that's the wrong way to go. I think that my motion, which calls for return of the $13 until we establish what is the correct way to go, is the way to do it. And I would hope that the council will support that. I don't think that we're ready to go here today. I do support the self-certification plan. I think that is the right way to go. We should allow people to certify, and even people that are in buffer zones today, or whatever the case may be, although they probably shouldn't be there today in many of these areas. Some of these zones were defined prior to even the 118 freeway being there, which is a natural fire break, and homes that are built way above it, and yet people below it and people down in the flatlands have received these notices. So I don't think we should act too rapidly. I think we should ask the fire department to get together with the various council offices that have these potential fire areas in their district and redefine the lines. Then come back and give us a proposal as to who should pay how much. People in buffer areas maybe don't need the same type of intensive inspection as people need who are adjacent to a canyon or a open area or a hillside area where there is open land above it. So I just think that we should not proceed with this today. I think we should return the $13 to people who have paid it. We commend them for being good spirit. I don't think anybody really minds paying the money if they feel they're getting the reason for it is adequate. And I think most of the people, and I had to deal with it during an election, members of the council, and I will tell you that it wasn't the $13, it was the idea of whether they should have been assessed or not, or whether they should have been given this fee. So I think what we need to do is ask the fire department to come back after dealing with the various council offices, redefine the boundary areas, give us a nexus on fees in proportion to what they're actually going to do. And I have no problem with certain areas, which are buffer areas, being inspected by helicopter. They don't necessarily have to go into every backyard. But the point is that fee should be commensurate with what they're actually doing.
Mr. Burnson, your time is up.
Well, I am one of the authors of this, so I don't know how much time.
I've already given you a minute over.
Huh?
I've already given you a minute.
All right, well, I'll press my button again. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fuhr.
Thank you very much, Madam President. With due respect to Mr. Bernson's questions, couldn't disagree more about the timing. We have already taken too long to do this, and I urge that the council act today. First, on the legality question, I'd like to ask our city attorney to step forward. And just very, very concisely, Mr. Morris, is this a tax or a fee?
This is a fee.
Is it a close question as to whether it's a tax or a fee or not?
No, we feel very definitely it's a fee.
And in fact, that this is a fee is underscored by the fact that if one self-inspects, one pays nothing.
That's correct.
That's integral to this. It's been said that there were many missteps in the implementation of this. No question. But what would we be saying a few months from now in the most intense part of the fire season if there were to be a fire, wind blown, reminiscent of Oakland, and its impact on the buffer zones would be clear? What would we be saying if we failed to act today to get actual compliance now? I think it's clear we'd be saying, let us be known as the council that looked ahead and required common sense prevail. Now, to continue on this point, the city properties which had not been cleared, for which we had not done a good job in the past, will be cleared immediately in the high danger areas, correct?
That's correct.
Yes, it is.
That's a loudly, please. Yes.
My mic's not on. I'm doing.
All right, but that's a key
Yes.
difference too, because it's been said before that it's inappropriate of us to ask of our residents that which the city is unprepared to do. Fair point. Not anymore is it relevant, however. There have been positive changes to the forms and the process, and I think that Ana Kubas from our CLA's office, along with our fire department, deserves a real commendation for working very intensely, including well into the night, to get this done. Having said that, we've taken out the former requirement that a notary notarize these documents. It was an inappropriate requirement, and we took it out in committee, and people should be able to sign this. Let's talk for a second about the self-inspection process. First, I've asked that a new draft circulate that in the very first paragraph makes clear in very simple language where residents can find the instructions on how to self-inspect. And the phone number of the brush clearance unit should be included at the top of this letter so anybody with any questions can get through and get direct responses. It's a very simple process. You can draw a map of your own property. After having drawn that map, you follow the basic instructions. If you have questions about what those instructions are, you call the brush clearance unit. And then you go out and you take a picture of what you've done and send it in. That's it. And then you've complied. In summary, colleagues, if we fail to act today, we could easily be known as the governing body that allowed a major fire to spread much farther than otherwise it would have if only we had taken prudent steps. This is common sense. It's been radically changed to be appropriate and easy to follow, and I urge we adopt it today.
Yeah, I'm treating him like you were treated in Burns. Mrs. Goldberg. Yeah. You're never treated nicely when we cut him off.
I think that perspective for me that made this make sense was to think about that some of the very lowest income people in the city who live in apartments will pay $1 a month for an inspection of their unit every third year. And we're asking people who own homes to pay $1 a month for an inspection every year that could easily not only save their own life and property, but that of everybody who lives around them. So I don't have much trouble with this at all. It seems to me like a very small amount to ask in return for the kind of safety that we live. It is true that we all forget the tragedies of the past, and then we all have these recriminations after they come upon us again. We got by last fire season with relatively little problem in Los Angeles City. But who knows what this year will bring? There's certainly not been a lot of water, which in one way keeps the growth down, but on the other hand makes it very, very dry. I, for one, will be happy to pay the $13 and think that most people will as well. We're hearing from a relatively few people very loudly, and I think we need to explain to them that this is a safety precaution that is a $1 a month fee. Now, I will say that there are some buffer areas that we ought to re-examine, and I would be happy to amend this to say that we should have everyone pay it that's currently listed, but to require the department to meet with council offices in examining those buffer areas, and to make to return to council in 30 or 60 days, let's say 60 days, and decide whether or not every one of those buffer areas is appropriate. And I will move that as an amendment. Because I do look at a couple of buffer areas in my area, and I'm not sure they're appropriate, and I think that Mr. Bernson's point is well taken. But in the meantime, I think the fee should be collected, and if it turns out that some buffer areas are reduced, it is not a terrible thing to send back $13 to people, if that happens. Well, but we're not going to send them back to everybody. We're only going to send them back to the... Well, all right, so we'll lose a little money in changing it. But I don't want to delay this, because I really do fear that we're going to have a hot summer. I really do fear that we're going to need to know that the weeds are down, and not just in the hillside areas, but in the areas that are most likely to be impacted by a firestorm, and we can have that debate over the next 60 days. But if I weigh it back and forth between a low-income family in my highly impacted neighborhoods, each paying $1 a month, and coming to me and saying they would be glad to pay $1 a month to have their units inspected every 3 years, compared to knowing that your inspection will happen annually to make sure that we're all safe, I just think it's a bargain at $13.
Mr. Hernandez?
I'm a little confused. And I guess the reason I'm confused, and I'm very much aware that my constituents at Mount Washington and Montecito Heights are watching this, because I fought to put them in the Fire Mountain District. I wanted to make sure that they were in the district. And that meant that I also supported this fee, and I wanted to make sure they understood why. And the reason was they were not in the Fire Mountain District. Most of my district is not in the Fire Mountain District. And what I understood from the fire department is because this council in previous periods created this Fire Mountain District, resources have to be spent there that cannot be spent throughout the city. And the reason for it, rightfully so, is when you have a fire up there, everybody panics because it can spread. Because the roads tend to be narrower, it's much more difficult to get there. We have to have special equipment like helicopters and so forth to deal with it. And yes, one of the precautions that can be taken to make sure we don't have these major fires that could basically be catastrophic to a community is we have to inspect the brush. And that is something that has to be done different. It's done so differently that in the flatlands, which is where I live, Building and Safety does our brush inspection. Street maintenance, they're the ones who do it, and there we charge a 40% surcharge when they have to clean it themselves. But at the fire department level, we had a $500 fee. For whatever reason, we treated these single-family homes in these hard-to-get-to areas so that they could have some serenity, special, different from the rest of the city. And I didn't think that my constituents who lived on mountainside should be treated differently from other constituents who live on mountainsides, and that's why I thought they should be part of these kinds of districts. But that's why they should pay a $13 fee. We're talking about 4 cents a day. We're talking about 4 cents a day as part of that serenity. The reality is those who clear their brush are doing what they can to protect their homes, but they are also dependent on their neighbors who could be absentee landlords who might not have a structure on that property to do the same thing.
All right, Mike.
And so, members, I just wanted to explain from the perspective of why it was important, why I fight for my mountainsides to be part of a district that gets that additional protection and those additional services that is denied to most of the citizens of the city of Los Angeles.
Okay, Ms. Sikowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, rise to support the Public Safety Committee report, and just want to put in perspective of where we started. We started last year with the recognition that, as we had asked by council motion for a review and a status report, the fire department had not been able to inspect the parcels that were then mandated, and we had serious concerns about our ability to catch up and make sure that citizens were doing what they were supposed to be doing in our brush areas, and the concerns about a pretty serious devastation that was potential if we didn't get out there. As a consequence, we asked the fire department to come back with some reports and some recommendations for what and how we could get a handle on doing this better. I think it's appropriate that we are acting now in response to what the fire department has prepared, in response to the increase of brush clearance from 100 feet to 200 feet, which we had learned from the Oakland fire was necessary. Mr. Burnson, you indicated that in some areas you have in the brush zone, the buffer zone, the new freeway that's been built. I don't think I need to remind everybody here that in the 1961 Bel Air fire, the fire jumped Bel Air, the freeway, the San Diego freeway, to start going on all the way to the ocean. It's so much better to be preventative, which is what we're doing here. I believe that were we to have a major fire, were this not in place, that the first thing the council would do after that major fire in the city would be to enact this program. I think I very much concur with Ms. Goldberg as I analyze this the same way, that we just last year adopted the housing inspection fee. Direct correlation, direct nexus in terms of providing some life, safety, health, necessities for citizens in our city. This is a direct corollary. And moreover, we have put in, which I think both Ms. Chick and Mr. Fuhrer have emphasized, a self-certification, a relatively simple, attentive way by which a citizen can say, I know what the parameters are, I know what's necessary to do, I am doing it myself, and therefore can avoid the fee. But in any case, it heightens our awareness. It is ultimately saving taxpayers money, and more importantly, it's going to be saving lives. So I think we need to move forward. The only other thing I did want to mention, as Ms. Chick had indicated, was on the condominium issue. What we have is all the condo owners received this notice, each of them required to pay the fee, and yet in every other instance, this goes to a parcel. No condominium owner owns a parcel. The condominium association together owns the parcel. So I think there should be an adjustment here so that the association is able to pay the fee or require the certification, but not each individual owners in a condominium, because it definitely relates to a parcel, and I'd like to ask the fire department to make that clarification and make sure that not all the individual owners get that fee or that requirement.
Vincent also said Mobile Park should have probably the same thing. All right.
Well, Mobile Park condos.
Mrs. Chick?
Yes, so colleagues, in closing, absolutely essential that we move. I'm not closing. Then I would prefer to wait until after Mr. Burnson speaks.
Okay, Mr. Burnson.
Well, first of all, let me just say, you mentioned jumping the 101. Remember that the area jumped into was a mountainous area as well. We do not have that below the 118. Except in a couple of canyon areas, which we have no problem including in a fire district. But there are a number of things. You know, I'd like to be able to support this. I'm not against the fee. The argument you hear is that the department did this before and they didn't charge as part of the service of the fire department that was done under the fire department budget, and all of a sudden we're trying to get some more money. Well, I understand the inability to do the job as you'd like to, and I want to support that. I think the self-certification program is a step in the right direction. And I heard Mrs. Goldberg's amendment, and I like that, and I could possibly go along with this if I could get a commitment from the department that they will, within the next 60 days, redefine the fire districts, return the checks of anybody who may have sent them in already, who is excluded from that area under the new boundaries, or who signs a self-certification. Under those circumstances, I could possibly go along with this today. I still feel that the $13 which originally was sent should be refunded, but I could even conceivably go along that if when they sign the self-certification, their money will be refunded. Is that correct? The people that have paid in already. It'll be refunded when they sign the self-certification. That's correct. And can I get a commitment in 60 days, you will come back with new fire district boundaries?
If I could ask for 120 days, only because we're right in the middle of the brush season and the problem's going to be
I'll split it with you, 90 days.
Okay.
In 90
So-
days, you'll come back with redefined boundaries. The people who are not in those boundaries will be given a refund if they have sent a check in already. And the others who signed a self-certification will also be immediately sent a check back. Is that correct?
Yes, and again, I just have to check on the time frame that we made. I believe we can do it in 90 days, and if I understand what you're saying,
Well, I want to support this. You know, I feel there is a danger, and nobody's district has been hit harder than
Certainly.
mine. So I want to protect it. I don't think the people mind paying the $13. They want to know they're being feed, I'm not going to say taxed, I'll say being feed appropriately and fairly. That's all that we're asking for. So if we can get that kind of a commitment and we have the self-certification, I can probably go along with this today. But I'm telling you that I think that we need to make some adjustments. This program started off wrong, on the wrong foot. We cannot afford another misstep. Another thing that I want to ask about is the administrative fee. That now, when it comes down to the point where the fire department has to call a contractor and have it cleared, there is an administrative fee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that goes where now? To the general fund?
That's correct.
Why shouldn't it go into the program that provides this service? So I'm going to move as an amendment to this, with Mrs. Chick's permission, I'm going to move an amendment that any administrative fees that may be collected as a result of this program go to the fire department for the program. So that'll be one amendment, and I will support it today with these commitments from the fire department, 90 days. Checks will be returned to people who self-certify. Checks will be returned to people who are not in the new fire district. And if we can reach that kind of an agreement, I'll go along today. Can I have that, Chief?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Hernandez?
And the reason I pressed my button is Mr. Burns just did something I thought that's very important. I really appreciate him opening the door with the amendment for me to bring this up. I also agree that the fee should go back to the fire department for the program. But I know that there's an inequity in our system. When street maintenance cleans a lot, there's an assessment that's put that includes a 40% surcharge. The 40% of whatever it costs to clean that lot is what goes on to the fee. When the fire department cleans a lot, there's a $500 set fee. Is that correct?
$204 non-compliance fee.
$204 non-compliance fee. Now, I want to point that out because if you live in the flatlands and you have a neglected lot and street maintenance comes and cleans it out and assesses you for that, there's a 40% surcharge.
Okay.
But if you happen to be in the fire mountain districts and the fire department has to have a contractor clean it out, we have a $204 fee. So as part of this review, I'd like to try and find that equity because it should stay with the department. There should be strong penalties to those people who refuse to clear the lots, but it should be the same system on both sides. Okay? And so as long as Mr. Burns is willing to accept that, I think we're headed very much in the right direction.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a request that we have a 5-minute public hearing.
Yes. Colleagues, there are some people who have been attending all the meetings, and I have no problem with hearing from them. You haven't heard their comments, and I think it's important that you do. And I also want to specifically thank Donna Matson from the Los Feliz area, who has given of her time and energy working with the fire department to revise the letter. In terms of the amendments that have been offered, I think that they all add improvements to what is before us. Particularly, I'm in favor of the fire department having the dollars allocated to them. Quite frankly, there are quite a few instances with our public safety departments where fees and fines and administrative charges from programs should stay right with that department rather than being commingled in the general fund. That's been an ongoing policy issue. We're just starting to touch the tip of the iceberg on this, and I think it's exactly the right move. The idea that this department is looking to just frivolously charge and get additional money, unneeded monies, is absolutely outrageous, colleagues. This is a department that has been underfunded and under-resourced and understaffed for every year that I have been on the city council. We do not have enough paramedics. We do not have enough fire inspectors. We have not been hiring. We do not have the staff to stretch and do special inspections for certain geographic areas without bringing in the revenue to pay for that service, except where the property owners do the self-inspection. So I cannot stress enough, this is an optional fee, a very sensible program now to allow property owners to self-inspect. Finally, I am very pleased that it looks like we are going to have a unanimous vote to take this right and necessary step to increase the safety of the entire city and protect it against the very real danger of brush fires. With that, I'll close. I'll look forward to the unanimous vote and to hearing from our residents that came before us again today.
Okay, we're gonna have a 5-minute public hearing. So Gordon Murley, Don. I will. Gordon Murley, tell us all you know, and it won't take very long.
Well, thank you, John. Gordon Murley, representing the Woodland Hills Homeowners Organization. As Mr. Burnson said, this has been inspected since we can ever remember by the fire department at no charge. The problem is that the fire department in their own literature says they have 94% compliance. And yet there is nothing in this that makes it move rapidly and have a big enough penalty to make those who have always been scofflaws in the hillsides. The other problem we have with this is, with all the nice rhetoric, there still isn't fire protection or paramedic protection in the hillsides, and yet you're asking us to do things that we have paid for and we never get. So this becomes a tax for a special thing that the city wants to. So we ask that you not do this and look at it very strongly until you get it together, because right now you're doing everything on the fly, and we'll finally see later what really comes out the end. Thank you.
Don Forrest.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Don Forrest. I am the Secretary of United Firefighters of Los Angeles City, Local 112. We represent, as you know, the 3,000 men and women who are on the line every day protecting you and the rest of the citizens in Los Angeles. I come before you this afternoon supporting the mandatory inspections for all parcels in the mountain fire districts and the clearance of those parcels that are identified by the advent of the inspections with the appropriate funding that obviously is needed for this. Now, mind you, when I say appropriate funding, I'm not here as a member of the union to advocate the $13 fee or whatever fee or how you choose to do this. This is between the fire chief, fire marshal, and you here at the council. But we do support the mandatory inspections in the fire districts, the clearance of those parcels if there is a hazard on that, and certainly adequate funding in order to get this done.
Okay,
this clearly is an issue that is paramount to the safety not only of the citizens, but to all the members of the fire department who are out there every day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cesar Chicantos.
Mr. Ferraro, all the members of the City Council, it will take me probably 2 days to challenge any one of the assertions made today. Mostly, these assertions are bananas. They are using scare tactics to scare the city of Los Angeles. and I realize that they're going to pass the fee because fighting the city fire department is like firing going against the flag, going against your own country. I want to tell you one thing specifically. This is a tax, and the city council also realized that the voters already voted twice to oppose any additional taxes to properties. Regardless if you call them a fee, doesn't make it a tax. This is a pirate tax. The reason is the public doesn't have any option. The fire department made it specifically requiring many things, inclusive they
Okay.
they requiring besides the notarization, they require drawings. Remember, 40% of the homeowners, they are old people. They don't know how to make drawings. They require photographs, and they require many other things.
All right,
So
thank you. All right,
Thank
Anson
you.
Burlingame. And then Donna Matson, and then Candido Mars.
For the record, I'm Anson Burlingame. I have never opposed the amount of money. I live in the Brush area. However, I did mention that a lot of 5,000 square feet pays $13. My property is equivalent to 13 R1 lots. I feel that people in the larger portions should pay more. However, I'm supporting it. But I am asking for the right to appeal. And the basic reason was presented to the committee that last year, only 2 people in my direct area complied with the 200-foot setback. It was my neighbor to the north and me. No one else was required to do it. When I complained to the fire department, immediately we started getting reactions. I had 2 further inspections. My neighbor to the north had 3. We all passed every time. I felt it was wrong. Now, if we have an appeal, I would be able to do something to state that I had met the requirements. I testified in front of committee 2 weeks ago. I have already, before May 1st, I have had an inspection of my property, and it was called an unofficial inspection. I called the fire department and asked what it was. A friend of mine said, it's harassment. You have jarred the committee. Therefore, that's all I have to say is I support the inspection, and I feel the fee should go higher, but we should be able to appeal.
Thank you. Thank you, Anson. It's nice to see you. Been a long time. Donna Matson?
Good afternoon, Councilman Ferraro and members of the City Council. I was following this very closely because when I first got the first notice, it would have resulted in my removing most of the trees on my property, which I and my family had been planting for the last 40 years. When I went to the hearing chaired by Councilmember Chick, we gave testimony, we gave instructions, we gave corrections and suggestions. Within 24 hours, the fire department faxed to us a revision of the minimum requirements, which were very upsetting to many of us. There was a task force formed. We met, we were heard, and most of the problems have been solved. The $13 fee, I am not qualified to deal with. But with the requirements, the minimum requirements for trimming, I believe that the fire department has done a terrific job. After all, of all the city departments, the fire department protects our homes and our lives, and they are the most important and dear to most of the people in Los Angeles, and we appreciate everything we do. I also appreciate the other amendments because I happen to be in a buffer zone, and I feel that I want to clear my house, I want to clear my yard, but I would appreciate this buffer zones being looked at more closely. Thank you very much.
We want to save those avocado trees too, Donna.
Yes, we do, and I have to fight street trees every time they pull up and start hacking at them. Thank you, Councilman Farrow.
Candido Mars? This one.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members. I live north of the 118. I live north of the Cessnon. And in 1988, there were fires surrounding my home. And the best thing that happened that day was we saw firemen. There were hundreds and hundreds of firemen that rushed to our houses to make sure that we try to save our homes. They helped us in any way they could. Last year, 1998, we had another fire. And we didn't have the disaster we had in 1988 because we had clearance. People had done the job they were supposed to. So this $13 to me is insurance that next year my home is going to be around. So again, let's pay the $13.
Okay, thank you, and the public hearing is closed. Mrs. Chick?
Just one last amendment. There was in the ordinance penalty fees on the $13 inspection fee, which we are doing away with for at least the first year of the program. There's just been too much confusion. We want to aim this to achieve the goal of safety of our firefighters and the public. It's not about charging penalties, so I look for a second on that motion.
Yeah.
With that, I think we can proceed.
Okay, now we have 14 before us. And what is your recommendation on 40?
It was covered in the amendment which I made.
So 40 can be received and filed?
No, it's covered in the amendment. Yeah, it's not received and filed, it is.
Well, but it's a part of the 14 now, isn't it?
It's part of 14.
So then we don't need 40.
They don't need 40.
So we
because
receive
it's
and
part of
file.
14.
So prepare the roll on 14, tabulate the vote.
As amended.
As amended, of course. Yes, all three amendments. As the Burnson amendments, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved, and 40 is received and filed. And we have 41, we have Ms. Goldberg's amendment.
Yes, this is
there
really
any
a substitute motion.
Substitute motion, so prepare the roll on 41, substitute motion, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much, and I just want to express our appreciation for all the people that helped putting the notice back together and the innumerable sessions the public came in and helped us with, and especially Yana Kubas for a Berkeley grad. She did an excellent job helping us out there on the notice.
Okay, and next time you write letters, we ought to have somebody look at them. Okay, the next item.
Item number 34, called special by Councilmember Chick.
Mrs. Chick?
Colleagues, I'm asking, and Mr. Fuhr agrees to send this motion to his committee. It involves a discussion of the Millennium.
I think there's several projects going on, and I think it'd be appropriate to send it to committee.
To send it to committee, and what I am specifically asking be done in committee is to take a look at what are the kinds of in-kind services and from what departments that these events might engender, so that we have a very clear-cut view of what the costs, hidden and otherwise, will be before we vote on going forward with these events. I certainly do want the City of Los Angeles to participate as other large cities are doing, but I think as a budget consideration, we need to know if departments are being asked to eat into their budgets and if we approve of that. So we will. I'll look forward to this coming back to council with those kind of details fleshed out. Thank you.
Okay, then 34 will go to committee. All right, the next item. Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. President. On this item, on 34, Mrs. Chick she's not part of the ad hoc budget committee, but I questioned this in the budget committee, and frankly, I think we can find, it's not going to be just $100,000, it's going to be about $250,000 per event, and I frankly think that we can find a better way to spend $1 million and celebrate the millennium, and perhaps a safer way. With all these people out in the streets, impact on the police department and the fire department is going to be horrendous, and it's going to cost a lot more money, I'm concerned, than what we're budgeting here. But that view did not prevail.
Okay, that will go to committee. The next item,
Item number 35, there's an amending motion by Councilmember Hernandez.
Mr. Hernandez, 35. What is he amending?
Basically, it gives the Department of General Services some instructions to complete some work before the transfer over to Cultural Affairs, and it's not major work. I'm looking for the motion, the amending motion itself. In front of Parque de Mexico, there are 2 light posts that need to be repaired. There's a chime that goes underneath one of the statues as part of the Hidalgo statue, but basically what it's requesting is that the Department of General Services complete that work before the actual transfer of the park over to Cultural Affairs.
Okay. All right, we have 35 as amended. Any discussion? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Forthwith.
Forthwith on that. Next item.
There is a request to reconsider number 31 by Councilmember Chick.
She's a little busy thing.
Yeah, I know. 30. Oh, I'm sorry, is it 30? I'm sorry, it's 30. 30. Colleagues, I did check with our CLA staff, Michael Karsh, on this motion. It is not time sensitive, and what I'm asking the introducer, Mr. Hernandez, is if it could go to committee for the following reason. My understanding at this point, and Mr. Karsh has not had a chance to look at it, is that perhaps we are going to want to make a recommendation to add something to the legislation, because the money is for acquiring more park space, but there's question in terms of whether any of that money can be used for maintenance such as brush clearance. And as we discussed today and Wednesday, and maybe you have information that we don't, but I think it would be in the best interest of the city of LA to advocate for that.
I don't want to confuse 30 and 31. You're asking for 31, right?
No, I'm sorry.
30. 30, Mike.
Okay, 30.
And just for it to go to committee for the purposes of seeing if we can advocate for the money to be used for brush clearance purposes on parkland that they don't have the funds to do now.
And I don't have a problem with that. Can we also include 31 then?
Oh.
Want to include Chatsworth Reservoir.
But my understanding was these are time sensitive, so I would also move that we try and have them before us. What's the soonest? I mean, why don't we basically include that as part of an amendment?
Michael Karsh, do you have any idea when this bill is going to be heard?
That'd be fine. We could do it on the floor today.
Because I think it should be included in both items, 30 and 31, because 31 primarily benefits the Santa Monica Conservancy.
Let's hear from the staff regarding the...
AB 18 was passed out of Water, Parks, and Wildlife Committee on April 19th. However, it was re-referred back to that committee. This is for the November year 2000 ballot. So usually the way this flows in the state, and I don't know specifically what Mr. Villaraigosa has planned, the bond issues will be jockeyed around, and then an eventual meeting will be held in August for next March election. But for the November election, which this has been postponed to in the latest amendment, I presume that would be subject to further committee hearings in the spring of next year.
Right, and what I understand is we don't need to continue our support. What we need to do is include as part of the motion itself.
I want to include something also.
That it allows for brush clearance. Okay. That be part of it.
You want to make the motion?
Yeah, and I'd like that to be included in both item 30 and 31 if we could, because they both deal with the Santa Monica Mountain Conservancy.
Okay. Mr. Burnson?
Yes, I'd like to amend that to also ask them to consider the inclusion of the Chatsworth Nature Preserve Reservoir as part of that purchase program.
No problem, Ben. In fact, we should include the purchase of the entire 12th Councilmatic District.
We should do that.
It's for sale. Okay. The 30 and 31, they've been reconsidered and they've been amended, so prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Special 1 is now before you. Special 1 findings need to be made.
Special 1 is before us.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. This is regarding a flyer for a city-sponsored symposium concerning the proposed charter. This motion is asking that the ethics and city attorney investigate to make sure that this is an appropriate use of city funds in light of the city and state laws.
Okay, we have the findings. Prepare the roll on the findings. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That's approved. Now, Mr. Savornich?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Colleagues, I would like to bring to your attention a couple of issues in regards to this matter regarding the charter measure, which is soon going to be before the voters of the city of Los Angeles. And what gives me some real concern, and I think there needs to be an opportunity to clarify this and bring it to light, are two issues that came to my attention and others' attention regarding the use of city facilities and public dollars in order to campaign for the passage of a charter measure. And what gives me some great concern, members, is that as I take a look at two flyers that have been distributed, one on charter reform that was being put together by the Personnel Department, as well as another one being put together by the Planning Department. And I have the flyers before us. All I see are participants who are in favor of the charter measure, and what I do not see is a balanced panel in regards that two sides of the issue can be presented. I also have before me a memorandum that was sent out by the city attorney's office dated March 22nd, which clearly outlines what can and cannot be done in regards for advocating the charter measure or opposing the charter measure. Mr. President, members of the council, I would ask for your unanimous vote in regards to the motion. I think that if indeed we are to have a prudent and rational debate on the charter to measure, it needs to be done out in the open with all parties from all perspectives being involved. And I most certainly would not want to think that the way that the charter measure is being handled now in regards to the public debate only having one side of the story with obviously some public resources involved is not a precursor to what the city government will look like if indeed the charter measure passes. I believe that we are starting to get a precursor of what is before us, and I would hope not to think so. Mr. President, members of the council, we have the general manager of personnel that's here that would like to say a few comments, and I most certainly think that we give him time to do that.
Mr. Fujioka, it's only,
we'll go right ahead.
appropriate that we have those comments, so feel free.
Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you.
Make your
First, I'd like to
statement.
announce that the training symposium referenced by Councilman Savornich has in fact been canceled. The intent of this program was in response to requests from several departments, general managers, assistant general managers, so on, for information related to what has been proposed through this charter reform process. It was not an attempt to campaign or advocate for passage, but I'm going to sit here to say we erred in how we structured this program, and as a consequence, there was a perception that we were in fact advocating on behalf of the proponents of charter reform. So as a consequence of that perception, we canceled this training program. It was never our intent to sit and advocate or to establish a process to advocate on behalf of charter reform, but it has been canceled. I accept I appreciate the advice. I understand there are several members of this council who felt very strongly about the perception that was presented. It was an error on our part, and lesson learned. Thank you.
Mr. Fujioka, thank you for the honesty in the presentation. Yes, Ms. Galanter.
Yes, I had an opportunity to talk with Mr. Fujioka a little bit earlier, and he shared with me what he's told us here, that this was a response to requests for information from other members of the city staff. And I would like to ask publicly the question I asked him, and I think it's worthy of our discussion as a council. The question I asked was, all right, so now you've canceled it, and I must say, it certainly didn't look to me like a nice, balanced informational forum, a perception I shared with Mr. Fujioka yesterday. But how are these people going to get the information that they have allegedly been seeking now that we're not going to have a forum? And I have the same concerns about whatever the answer to that question is as I did about the forum. I think it is important that if we are doing special training for our city employees, and I don't know why we should, and these are general managers and assistant general managers, and they can read the charter. And surely the city clerk can make copies of it available to them. But I think it's important that if they're going to seek information, they at least be informed about the variety of sources of information available, so that they are not, in fact, being sent in any way, shape, or form only to those whose job it is to get the thing adopted, but that they might also be aware that there are some of us who feel that this is perhaps not the wisest course, and that they at least have the option to seek conflicting opinions so they can make up their own minds. Now, if they are not residents of the city of Los Angeles, they're not voters in the city of Los Angeles, they might as well wait, because if it's adopted, they're going to have to live with it, and if it's not adopted, they're not going to live with it. But if they are residents, they will receive, and registered voters, they will receive a copy of the charter in their very own mailboxes, and they will be able to find that out. But I do want to say that I think the concern that Mr. Savornich and I have voiced in the motion transcends just holding a public forum in city facilities with city resources. Sending a letter around that says, the charter commissions will be happy to tell you about the charter, it seems to me it's just a milder version of the same thing. So if we're going to look into this, I think what we need to look into, city attorney's memo covers some of it. Perhaps we need to ask for further elucidation, and I would urge adoption of the motion.
All right, Ms. Walters.
Thank you, Mr. President. Interestingly enough, council members, I had one of our community forums scheduled for just a couple of days after this, which we had to cancel because ours was definitely going to be information on both sides, and as someone who's opposed to the charter, I certainly intended to advocate against its passage. But I'm a little confused by Mr. Fujioka about your statement that this was a training session. I have your memo and flyer in hand, and it says nothing about training. It says Charter Reform Symposium. It's with great pleasure I invite you to attend a symposium on charter reform, sponsored by the Personnel Department, and goes on there. It doesn't say a word about training. Then on the flyer itself, it says you're cordially invited to a symposium on charter reform. Nothing about training. It does say that this is your opportunity to learn how charter reform will impact you. Bring your questions. That's not a training session. And I could stand here and read word for word the memo that attached to the flyer, but it has nothing about training. The people that you have invited here, Kiefer Sherminsky, the mayor's private counsel, and then Zandra Caden as President of League of Women Voters, who has indicated she's supportive of it, and that's fine if she's supportive of it, but there's no neutrality here, let alone a contrasting opinion for both sides, no attempt for both sides to be presented. And I don't know how this could be construed as a training session. It would seem to me that if it were a training session, it would be so worded that it was a training session.
I understand. And
hopefully it doesn't pass, and then you would have wasted your energy. And a training session from 8:30 till whatever time you plan, let's see here, from 9 to 11, 2 hours won't do it.
I understand. Could I respond to that?
Yes, by all means.
Very briefly. In my discipline, in the field of personnel, when we provide information, it's synonymous with training individuals. The intent was to provide information to individuals, but I agree is that the way it was structured, I mentioned earlier, and the fact that those who were asked to present the information were obvious on the side of support of the charter reform. I made a decision early yesterday to cancel it, but the intent was merely to provide information, and we structured it accordingly, but we erred in the way we structured it.
All right, just for the
Excuse me,
edification of the...
there's still a little bit of
Excuse
time,
me, Ms.
Mr.
Walters?
Mr. President,
We-
I wanted to respond to
No,
this.
I know that. Oh, do we have it? Okay, no, I was just going to, now, we didn't have a quorum. Now we have a quorum.
Oh, Mr. Fujioka, you can give information about a variety of things without it being a training session. Training sessions in your business are commonly determined to be staff development activities and are so indicated. Staff development or training exercises such as it is. To invite somebody to a symposium, you could invite them to a symposium on the current war in the Balkans if you wished, but that's not training them to go over there and do anything about it.
All right, Ms. Goldberg.
Yes.
Interesting.
I think I was particularly concerned about the role of Ms. Pitsakis, because as my understanding that she is a active member of the actual campaign. And so I'm wondering whether or not, this really has nothing to do with Mr. Fujioka, other than that she's on the panel, along with everybody else who supports it on the panel. But I'm wondering if we could get a city attorney view about what is the role of this individual now that they have become a part of a campaign. What is their role in the city government then? And can you do both? Can you be paid both to be a city employee and a campaign employee? And I'd like to just ask that we get an opinion on that and make sure that because you see, the problem is that we do not want to blur the lines. That was one of my problems with this in the first place, was even if it had been a balanced panel, which it is not, but even if it had been, I'm not sure, but whether doing this on work time doesn't appear to be a campaign activity one way or the other. I just worry about that stuff because it's part of what makes people so cynical, I think, is when they can't tell which hat someone's wearing and who's paying the bills. So maybe we can get Mr. Echeverria to give us an answer to the first question.
It would, just for a point of information, I just have
This is city time.
notice of a symposium at the Mark Caper Auditorium, and maybe whoever is organizing it, they would know the difference between who is the chairman of the elected and the chairman of the appointed. They have them in reverse roles. So,
oops.
I don't know what that means, but go ahead.
The answer is that based on the case of, based on the case of Stanson versus Mott and subsequent cases, that no, public funds cannot be expended, even in the form of providing salary for a public employee to do
so
that.
then
That can
we-
be done on their own time, but not on, not
We
when they're being
must
paid.
assume then that Ms. Pitsakis is on leave from the mayor's office? If she's working on the campaign?
Is she working on the campaign? Well, let's get the information here.
Yeah, I think we need to find that out.
And is this being held on, this is at 8:15 in the morning?
It's been canceled, sir.
It's been canceled.
Oh, it's been canceled?
Yeah.
Well, maybe the reason it was
What about the one in
canceled,
the planning
couldn't figure the
department's
difference
holding?
between one or the other. Huh?
What about the planning department one?
The planning department, do you have any information on that, Mr. Fujioka?
No, I
This
can't
says-
speak to that.
It says
I'll
Thursday-
accept only mine.
Okay, it says Tuesday, May 11th, 6:30 to 8:30 at the Crenshaw DWP Auditorium, South Central Southeast Task Force of the Los Angeles Department of City Planning.
Who is sponsoring that one?
South Central Southeast Task Force of the Los Angeles Department of City Planning. For further
Wow.
information, contact Richard Ferguson, Dwayne Wyatt, or Dick Platkin. And it says,
Very-
confirmed speakers are Bennett Kaiser, David Diaz, and Yadi Hashemi. I don't know which side any of them are on.
Can we check into that? I mean, it's, now we have departments that are having symposiums?
public discussion of analysis of the charter reform, it says. I just got this morning.
Can, I want the city attorney's office to check into that and get back to us by Tuesday, okay? All right? And any of the other symposiums that are being held, you know, it doesn't, you know, from my vantage point, let them have, it's nice, but there are more appropriate ways of having these symposiums than having the appearance. Either way, I don't care what side they're on.
May I speak to the last paragraph of the motion, Mr. President? We did prepare a memorandum on March 22nd of this year, which went to the commission members of the elected and appointed charter commissions, as well as elected officials of the city and the CLA. What I propose is sending a copy with another cover memo of that memo to all the department heads.
Well, it would be appropriate, because maybe they
as
don't
well.
understand the memo, and spell it out to them, so that we're not going to have these types of mistakes.
We will send that out.
All right? Mr. Zabornik.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, members, and Mr. Fujioka, thank you so very much for your candor. And the one thing that I think, colleagues, that we have to understand is that we have seen two city departments independently, and I'll use that term very loosely, come up with symposiums or discussions on the charter proposal. And if anyone around this body or listening to this believes that these things are just happening willy-nilly and there is no organized effort to have them, then I have a bridge down in San Pedro that I'd be happy to sell you. This is...
Are there any for sale?
There may be if the charter passes. One of the things that I'm so very concerned is that we need to make sure that the public is educated. There is no doubt. And I believe that it's the duty of each and every voter in this city who chooses to vote on June 8th to educate themselves and to have information in order that they can make the best decision possible. What our issue is here today, that there are two perspectives on the charter measure, and only one perspective to date is being portrayed to the voting public, and that perspective in of itself being portrayed isn't bad. It's that the perception that public dollars are being used to portray it is what's bad. I'm all in favor of the voters getting the information, but it needs to be done above board, Mr. President, members. That's the issue here today.
It's the appropriateness and objectivity. All right? Yes. Ms. Walters.
One, Mr. Echeverria, as city attorney, you're going to send a memo to all departments.
All the department heads.
Okay,
Yes.
that this activity is not in comport with the law, does not
Correct.
comport with the law. Fine, thank you. The other thing, council members, the horrible, chilling thought that this brings to mind is the concern that many people raised, and myself included, when the charter was being rewritten by both groups, and that is the politicizing the what were formerly civil servants, and it just shouldn't happen. These people should not be dependent upon responding to a hiring authority, the person that hired them, in order to keep their jobs. They just should not be. And Los Angeles has been free of that kind of thing, and I think moving these people out of civil service really makes them vulnerable to that kind of activity. And I just think we made a major mistake in removing civil service from department heads and assistant general managers. And I hope this doesn't portend the future.
Sir, there's a perception that I was asked by someone, maybe whether council or the mayor's office, to put on this program. That was, I swear, that never occurred.
I realize. I trust.
It didn't. I understand.
I trust that to be the case. All right. Anything else on this item? If not, what's the action? All right. Special one is before us. Open the roll. Close the roll.
10 ayes.
All right. That item is deemed adopted. Next item?
Now it's time for public testimony and
All right.
non-agenda items.
And public comment. Anybody here would like to be heard on public comment? If not, public comment period is closed. Next item.
Request to be excused from council meetings. Councilmember Ridley Thomas requests to be excused Tuesday, May 11th, to leave at 11 a.m., meets policy for city business.
All right, there's no objection, that'll be the order. Next item.
Councilmember Chick requests to be excused on Wednesday, May 26th, to be excused for city business, meets policy.
All right, if there's no objection, that'll be the order. Next item.
The desk is clear.
All right, the desk is clear. Any adjourning resolutions? All right. Let me, I wanted to adjourn in the memory of Omar Paredes, who is a noted author, educator, who just recently died, and I'd ask Mr. Hernandez to join me on that. Mr. Ferraro.
I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Leo Bonaventura. He was the brother of Tom Bonaventura, who recently retired, Assistant Chief City Attorney. Leo was born in East Chicago, Indiana, died April 16th. He was a graduate from Bishop Noel High School in East Chicago and attended Indiana University. He served in the U.S. Army as a drill sergeant during World War II, was involved in his community, particularly in youth sports and activities. He was head coach of the Culver City Lancers and assisted in coaching teams in the Culver City Little League and Babe Ruth League. He's survived by Tom and 3 other brothers and sisters, and I ask we adjourn in his memory. Ms. Sikowski?
I would like to, on behalf of Mr. Holden, ask the council to adjourn in the memory of Roberta Judkins. She was a lifelong resident of the 10th Council District and worked as a library clerical assistant. She was a member of St. Paul's and a graduate of LA High School. She was only 43 years old, and she will be greatly missed by her coworkers who enjoyed her caring nature. She is survived by her 17-year-old daughter, Toni Harris. Also, on behalf of Mr. Holden, another resident of the 10th District, Scott Albert Bradley, passed away on May 5th, and he is survived by his sister, Kathleen Bradley Redd.
Okay, Mr. Zavornich.
Mr. President, members of the council, it gives me a great deal of sadness to ask that we adjourn in memory of Omuro Tamburi, who is the brother of Connie Tamburi McCosker. Her husband is our Chief Deputy City Attorney, Tim McCosker.
Oh, second.
He died in a single-car auto accident last Thursday. He was the only fatality. He's 34 years old, a general contractor in the harbor area, and a 23-year resident of San Pedro. In addition to being survived by his sister, Connie McCosker, he is survived by his parents, Elia and Omero Sr. Funeral services were yesterday.
Any other adjourning resolutions? All right, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Burns, Ms. Chick, Mr.
10 minutes. We'll, thank you. The meeting is adjourned. The Budget Committee will reconvene in 15 minutes.